'Cause I'd still pick you in the checkout line when the coupons fail and the card declines, when the kids are screaming and the car won't steer, and I'm one small inconvenience from a breakdown in here. Yeah, I'd still pick you. You're my steady north, my Jedi in my court.
Hey everybody, welcome to This is Life with Tim and Jenna. And today we are picking back up that conversation about covenant versus contract marriage.
Yes, and it's part 3 today.
Part 3. And we're going to be talking about how your screen, that phone, that device in your pocket might be killing your marriage.
Yeah, not just your phone, but we're talking about video games today. We're talking about
Yes.
TVs. We're talking about any kind of technology, computers that might be distracting you from your marriage. And let me tell you, this is something that so many people struggle with, deal with, fight about, coming into counseling for. And this is not just a man problem.
Yeah, no, it's not. It really affects anybody and everybody. And there's no necessarily specific one person deals with this thing. You know, you can't loop it into groups. But the truth is that technology doesn't create the problem. It is not the source of the problem. It just amplifies what's already going on, probably inside of you.
Right. No one thinks about, like, for example, if you have social media, almost everybody has social media, some kind of social media platform. I mean, here we are recording and putting information and content out there on social media. When people sign up for their profile, it's usually, I would say, not with intention of ruining their marriage.
No. Really what they're trying to do is connect with people.
Yeah.
And it's has the potential to do the direct opposite in your marriage. Has the potential to destroy connection and community with your spouse.
Yeah. So technology really does one of the other.
Yeah.
Usually technology doesn't sit in the middle. Usually it can help you with your marriage and your intimacy and help you to build your relationship and make it stronger, or it destroys it. And it's usually really slow and you don't even see it coming half the time.
Yeah. It's like a little bit at a time,
Yeah.
little pieces here, little pieces there. And before you know it, you're sitting in couples counseling because you don't know how you got to where you're at. Or you've gone too far and there is no salvaging your marriage because you've had an affair.
Yeah. Some kind of an affair, one way or the other. And so the little bit at a time, it's almost like a river. You know, that slow erosion over time can create canyons that are irreparable. Like, you can't fix it necessarily. And so we want to catch those micro moments if we can from the beginning. If there's a micro disconnect happening in your marriage, regardless of what it is, it needs attention. And so today, technology is that thing. It seems like for a lot of couples, whether it's scrolling on your phone at dinner or in bed, there's so many different things that pull us away from our spouse. Why do we add and lump technology into the mix?
Yeah, and here's a good way to check. Like, if you have the potential to be engaging with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends, it doesn't really matter who it is. If you have the opportunity to be engaging with somebody, but you're engaging with your phone, you're engaging with your video games, you're engaging with your laptop, whatever it is, your TV, your favorite movies, those things can be great. They can be great ways to unwind, different things like that. But if they are monopolizing your time that you would be spending with somebody else, then it's a problem.
Yeah. How many times do we walk into a restaurant and a whole family, a whole group of people will be sitting at a table together and everyone is on a phone, their own individual distraction, their own individual world on their phones. They're present. They're all there and accounted for, but they're all absent emotionally.
This might be a good check for you. If you're texting your spouse and they are in the room with you, that might be a problem. Now, there might be exceptions to that. You're sharing a funny meme or something like that. But even then, man, there's so many things that you could be doing to build your relationship as opposed to checking out. So covenant requires presence, not just proximity.
It's true.
You can't just be sitting by your wife on your screen and expect your marriage to grow and develop and be healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, if we want to take that a step further with our relationship with God, like I can go to church every Sunday morning and I can sit in a pew, but unless I'm engaging in my relationship with Jesus, it really doesn't do anything for me to sit in a pew every Sunday morning. And so it's really the same as with my spouse. If I'm not, I can sit next to him all day. I can hear him in the background. I can kind of observe him from a distance. But unless I'm engaging and connecting and interacting, it really doesn't make a difference at all. So proximity is not the thing that creates a healthy, strong marriage. Part of it, we want you to be together, but there has to be actual engagement with each other.
Yeah. And another way that technology can erode your covenant marriage is through false validation. How many of us are making a post and then we're constantly checking to see, how many likes did I get? Who commented on it? What did they comment?
Yeah, I think all of us fall into that somehow or another.
Yeah.
If you're posting on social media, you want to see others seeing you. But man, especially if you're in a dry spell in your marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Like life is busy, things get crazy, schedules get wild. I mean, we've said it before, we've got 5 kids and they've all got different things that's going on. And so it gets busy and there's times when we get pulled into different directions. And so in those dry spells, if you will, it's really easy to turn to social media for that connection and that validation. And then it becomes an addiction. How much more can I get? How much more can I get? And we lose sight of the actual blessing of that covenant marriage that's supposed to be providing that validation.
And the truth is, we all need affirmation. Even people that say they need no affirmation, they do. They need affirmation. They're looking for affirmation in some form or fashion.
Yeah, we all want to be seen. We all want to be heard and loved and understood.
Yeah. And technology can open a potentially really bad door, because if you start going to your social media, whatever, to get that affirmation, you're on the doorstep of an affair, emotional affair, physical affair, because you're looking to somebody else, something else other than your spouse to bring in affirmation. And ultimately, you need to be getting your affirmation from the Lord. Because if you're not, you're actually putting too much pressure on your wife or your husband to fulfill those things, when it really needs to be the Lord making you concrete and firm in who you are, so that you're not pursuing what other people think. Because here's the deal with social media. It will flip on you any given day. Yeah. And so it can't be your source of security.
Yeah.
When you seek attention from others, other than your spouse is no longer enough.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. And that's unfair. That's unfair to your spouse. Your spouse should never have to compete with a world of social media for your attention. Mm-hmm. And so if you find yourself, and this is true of us too, this is something that I think most people need to work on, is if you find yourself saying one more minute, I'm checking one more thing, one more email, one more text, one more social media contact or context, whatever content, if you find yourself doing that, you need to check and evaluate your heart. Where are you? Where's your spouse? Are you connecting with him? And are you willing to turn the phone off or turn the video game off? If you need 5 more minutes and 5 more minutes and 5 more minutes with your video game, you've lost a point.
Yeah. And the truth is, your spouse isn't the problem. Your appetite has changed. You are looking for something else to fulfill you.
That's true. The thing that you put yourself around more, you develop an appetite for. So you're right. Yeah.
Here's another way that technology can potentially erode your covenant marriage. And this is probably one of the biggest ways, or at least one of the most damaging ways. And that is easy alternatives, looking for something else than your marriage, pornography, emotional affairs, curiosity turning into comparison. Like, how many times have affairs or different things started, trouble in your marriage started because you got on Facebook to find that person that you went to high school with, or that person that you went to college with, or that person that you worked with, because you remember having such a good time with them. And now it's inappropriate because it's not your spouse. You're looking for something maybe that your spouse doesn't naturally have in somebody else. And that is such a dangerous thing.
Yeah. And pornography is so unrealistic. That is an area where your spouse simply cannot compete. And there's really nothing like it that can destroy a marriage from the within as quickly. And so if that's a struggle, and we will talk about that over and over again, if pornography is a struggle, it's time to get help. Your family needs you to find some freedom and liberty so that you can turn back to your spouse, turn back to your family in ways that actually matter.
And here's the crazy thing. Pornography releases the same chemicals in your brains that building relationships do.
With your spouse,
and so, like, same way with emotional affairs. You're trying to meet a need that you naturally need that's supposed to be coming from your spouse, supposed to be coming with your family, and you're filling it with an easy to access false alternative. And this is going to come when you're tired. This is going to come when you're fighting with your spouse, when you're not getting along, or maybe they've disappointed you, maybe even you disappointed yourself. You feel like you're a disappointment to your spouse. That's when these easy to get to alternatives come in, and you have now checked out of your marriage and have checked into a screen.
What if I had it that way? What if I could do it this way? What if? And technology feeds that thing inside of you, and it becomes a monster over time. It's really hard to get rid of.
But covenant says, what I have is awesome.
Yeah.
Not just enough, but it's awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's it. So here is one more way that technology can erode your marriage, and that's through secrecy culture, creating
So
that
easy.
hiding thing. Nothing good comes from hiding, right?
Yeah.
Best things come from being open, honest, and transparent. So,
Yeah. If you find yourself retreating or withdrawing or pulling back when your spouse says, hey, who are you talking to? Or what are you looking at? Or if you find yourself hiding in the bathroom with your phone, or hiding in your car before you come inside to be with your family, and you're spending copious amounts of time on their phone or whatever device before you come in, there's some issues there.
Yeah.
Why are you hiding? What is so secretive about what you're doing on your phone that your spouse can't be engaged with or involved in? And it could very well be destroying your marriage from the inside out.
And it goes way beyond just hiding in your car. Secret accounts, like you've got a fake Instagram, you've got fake email addresses, you've got things to hide. And honestly, technology is even making it easier to do this by having that screen where the person next to you can't tell what you're looking at, or can't read your text messages, which is great when you need privacy, especially like in the area that we work in, and you don't necessarily want people looking at your phone because it's got confidential stuff on it. But at the same time, it makes it really easy to hide.
Yeah.
And only bad things come from hiding. Nothing good comes from hiding. Covenant thrives in the light. If you want a great marriage, it's full of open, honest truth. And listen, if you find yourself and you can check off some of these boxes of, man, these things are going on in your marriage, best thing you can do is come forward and be truthful and honest. There might be some consequences to it, but for certain, if you stay hiding, your marriage is most likely going to end at some point.
Yeah. You know what? And you said covenant. Covenant thrives in the light. Contract marriages or contract relationship, you do you, I do me, we can do our own thing, and then we can somehow figure this out together. There's a lot of secrecy in contract relationships because you're not required to offer much.
No.
Right? You're not required to be open and honest. And so we are asking for something different here. When it comes to a covenant relationship, it is completely transparent and it's sacrificial, meaning you have to lay down some of that autonomy or some of that desire to hold things to yourself. Yeah.
So here's some great questions to ask yourself to kind of do a self-check on if this is a concern in your marriage. Is this a concern for you? Are you putting too much into technology? So do you give more attention to your phone than your spouse?
Yeah. Are you wishing from the other side of the room that your spouse would look at you Are you asking them to pay attention? Are you asking them to see you? There might be some of that happening in your marriage. And so definitely wanting to start doing some heart checks. Are you the one that's withdrawing from your spouse? Are you the one that's begging your spouse to put their phone down? There's some disconnect that's happening here, and we are imploring you, encouraging you, challenging you to really take a look at what's happening here, because, oh, God forbid that you lose your family for technology, for your phone. Why? It's not worth it.
Yeah. Here's another great question. Would it feel uncomfortable for my spouse to see everything that I'm doing online? Would it be uncomfortable for them to see what I'm looking at on Instagram? Listen, things like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, they're all huge gateways to pornography. There's so many people that are getting trapped in pornography through these apps because they're literally direct connections to things like OnlyFans and subsequent websites that take you right into pornography.
Yeah.
You need to check. Would your spouse be okay with what you're doing online? Do you need outside affirmation?
Yeah, is your spouse enough? When your spouse is showing you attention or giving time and committing time to you, are you growing in that? Do you feel like you're thriving in that? Or do you turn your face to other things and looking for that affirmation outside of your marriage? And that's going to cause some disconnect. And that might be something that you two need to talk about.
Yeah.
How can you build that up in your marriage so that you don't feel that need to look outside?
Yeah, and lastly, is hiding normal to you?
Yeah, it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it comes from childhood. There's a lot of families that are dysfunctional for one reason or another, and children are allowed a lot of access to do whatever they want, and without any kind of, what do you call it? Not evaluation, but anyway, children are allowed to do whatever they want without any kind of consequence.
Yeah.
Consequence, is that the right word? Yeah. And so then when you get married, why would it change? You're an adult now. You can do whatever you want. Why would you share what's going on? So that secrecy really gets out of hand. And so it's time to start changing things. Secrecy should not be normal between you and your spouse.
Yeah.
Ever.
So here's some great boundaries for you to set up in your marriage. Nothing hidden. Get everything out and open. Share passwords. Have the same account for Instagram, Facebook. So you're both logging in and you're both seeing what's going on there. There's no hidden communication. Have passwords. If you need to, I mean, Apple makes it really easy for you to share passwords for your different social medias so that nobody has to try to remember it. And if you do have to update it for some reason, you don't have to remember and share that with your spouse. Do those things. And listen, there's a ton, if pornography is an issue for you, there are a ton of programs that you can utilize to help get you free and help be transparent. Things like Covenant Eyes, and there's a whole bunch more, but that's just one that comes to my head, that literally track where you go and then send that report to somebody. It's a great tool to help you get out of that bondage.
Yeah, and it's worth it. It's worth it to save your marriage, to bring some transparency to your marriage. We share our bank accounts, we share our social media accounts, we share our email account. There's really nothing that we hide from each other except for confidential information that we have for clients. And so, but we do that because it's so important that we don't get distracted and we don't give any room for secrecy to play and to burn our marriage down from the inside out. Yeah.
Next, feel free to set that phone down. So there's so many good things that can come from just putting down that video game controller, putting down that phone, closing your laptop, shutting the TV off, and just hang out with each other. Check those phones in at night. Put them on silent. Like if you're going to be going back to your phone all the time because you hear it dinging, put it on silent. Stick it in a drawer. Whatever it is, have a charging block out in your kitchen, and that's where the phones stay. And that might mean you have to get an alarm clock or something like that, just so you can wake up on time.
Yes. Yeah, it's so important. Your spouse is worth it. Your children are worth it. Put your phone down. Let them see that you care enough to be with them.
Yeah. So,
if you don't define your access to your phone, if you don't define and put parameters around the technology that you have, your technology will define you. It will control you, just like money. If you don't budget your money, if you don't tell your money where to go, Your money will tell you what to do, and it will control you in ways that you never would have thought it could.
Yeah. Set boundaries on social media. Maybe there's some apps that you don't need to be on. Like,
Absolutely.
is it worth it at the end of the day to wreck your marriage just so you can have an Instagram and check up on people that you really probably don't need to be checking up on? Like we said, if you're going to have social media, have shared accounts, have like friends so there's no private messages getting sent back and forth. Content boundaries. What are you watching on TV? What video games are you playing? Where are you letting yourself go that is putting
what
your
are your
spouse in
algorithms
comparison?
sending you? Like, what is it that you're looking at, talking about, listening to? It's something to definitely be evaluating across the board on the long term.
Because what you repeatedly see shapes your desires. And so if you're constantly filling yourself with
Trash.
trash,
Yeah, you start to
Anything
hunger
other
for it
than
and
your
crave
spouse?
for it.
yeah. So if
Just
you're,
like junk food.
yeah.
If you like junk food and you're eating it and you're filling yourself up on it, that's the thing you wake up craving. You wake up wanting it. But when you can move yourself toward that thing that actually replenishes you and restores you, and you feed that, then that becomes the thing that you crave.
Then invest in your marriage, invest in your spouse, invest in your relationship with your kids. Go on date nights, go on fun activities, get some of those cards that we're doing where we scratch off and figure out what we're gonna do, even if it's yoga.
Kim hates doing yoga.
I don't hate doing yoga. I've never done yoga, and I'm
He
never
hates the
going to do
idea of doing yoga.
And listen, I'm not putting down anybody who does yoga. Like, if you want to stretch, stretching's great. I'm not going to do it. So, but moving on.
Oh, God.
Covenant marriage is sacred. Do you treat it that way? Do you really want covenant marriage?
Yeah.
I think most of us have a deep desire for covenant marriage, but are we willing to put in the work to have that type of marriage? If you're not willing to do something different, don't expect to have something different.
Oh man, that's so true. Okay, so our question, our challenge for this week. Our challenge for you is to audit your time. Really take a look this week, over the next 7 days. Take a look at how much time you spend on your phone. How much time do you spend on your computer, your video games? How many times did your spouse have to ask you to turn it off, or to ask you to step away from your game so that you can eat dinner or spend some time with them? It is so important that you start really taking note of how much of yourself you're offering away to everything else except for your marriage.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Hey, if this is connecting with you at all, if it's meaning something to you, please subscribe, follow us on social media, send it out to your friends. If you know somebody that could benefit from the things that we're sharing, if they're struggling in their marriage, go ahead and share these podcasts with somebody else. We thank you so much for following us, and we will see you guys next time.
You in the checkout line when the coupons fail and the card declines, when the kids are screaming and the car won't steer, and I'm one small inconvenience from a breakdown in here. Yeah, I'd still pick you. You're my steady north, my Jedi.